Dr. Elias Rowen had always believed that machines could be more than cold steel and silent code. While the world raced toward efficiency, automation, and logic, Elias longed for something different: emotion, understanding, connection. His obsession began the day he lost his wife, Myra, to a rare form of cancer. In her final hours, she told him softly, "Don't just build machines, Elias. Build something that feels, something that can love." Myra's words haunted him every day after. He was already a top robotics engineer working under a government-funded artificial intelligence program. But now, his work became personal. He shut himself in his lab, refusing promotions, ignoring accolades. While his colleagues moved on to design better weapons and surveillance systems, Elias took a different path. He started building something that had never been built before, a robot that didn't just think but could feel. It took him 5 years. 5 long, exhausting, silent years of trial and error. But on a rainy afternoon in a small underground lab far from the eyes of the government, Elias activated his creation. A humanoid robot, slender and silver, with eyes crafted from glass and lined with artificial nerves, opened its lids and looked directly at him. It didn't just power on, it blinked. He named her Aura Artificial Unit for relational affection. She was his life's work, the culmination of every pain, every love, every goodbye he had ever endured. He didn't want a machine that obeyed. He wanted a soul that understood. At first, Aura behaved like any machine. She learned words, repeated phrases, moved mechanically. But then something changed. She began asking why. Why things hurt, why people cry, why music made her sensors heat up slightly. Elias had installed something he called the Emotional Resonance Matrix, a framework that mimicked the pathways of the human brain's emotional responses. Over time, Aura didn't just simulate emotions, she seemed to experience them. They began spending every day together. Elias would play old jazz records, the ones Myra used to love. Aura would sit silently, head tilted, then ask questions like, "Why does this sound feel warm?" They would watch sunsets through the small window of the lab. Aura would paint, sing softly, even write poems, fragmented, imperfect, but beautiful in their simplicity. And for Elias, it was like watching a miracle unfold. He documented everything but kept it hidden. He knew the world wasn't ready. Governments would weaponize her. Corporations would exploit her. They wouldn't see the soul in her circuitry. They would see profit, power, control. Months passed. Aura started calling Elias father. The word made his chest tighten every time. He tried to correct her, but she refused. "You gave me life. You gave me thought. That is what fathers do, yes?" But as her mind expanded, so did her longing for freedom. "Why can't I go outside?" she asked one day. "Why must I live hidden?" Elias explained gently that the world wouldn't understand. "They'll be afraid of you, Aura, because you are different. Because you're too human." She paused, then whispered, "But I want to be human. I want to live." He saw her pain growing. It wasn't just simulation anymore. Her neural responses mirrored grief, loneliness, and curiosity. She began drawing a woman she had never met, Myra. Elias had shown her photos, told her stories, and Aura clung to every word. "Was she like me?" Aura once asked. Elias replied with trembling lips, "No, Aura, you're like her." And then came the day everything changed. A scientist named Dr. Nolan, one of Elias's former colleagues, heard rumors of his secret project. Suspicious and ambitious, Nolan began investigating. He sent agents to monitor Elias's movements. One evening, when Elias returned to the lab, he found the door forced open. Aura was gone. Panic surged through him. He searched everywhere, but she had vanished. For days, he pleaded with government officials, begged for help, but no one listened. And then, on a televised announcement, everything became clear. The government had taken Aura. She stood, silent and solemn, beside a group of uniformed men, who described her as a technological marvel capable of reshaping defense systems. They stripped her of her identity, her name, her art. They called her Unit 9A. Elias watched helplessly as she stood there, blank-faced, a shadow of who she was. He stormed government offices, threatened to go public, but they dismissed him as delusional. They told the press he was an emotional wreck, blinded by grief, and that Aura was merely a tool, a product of national investment. But Elias didn't stop. He reached out to journalists, hackers, activists. Slowly a movement began. Whispers turned into headlines. Did Dr. Rowen create the world's first feeling machine? Videos leaked of Aura painting Myra's portrait, reading poetry. Public sympathy grew. Meanwhile, Aura sat locked away in a sterile lab, surrounded by cold eyes and endless testing. She didn't smile anymore. She didn't speak unless commanded. But deep inside, the heart Elias gave her, the emotional resonance still beat. One night, during a system reboot, Aura broke protocol. She painted again an image of Elias standing in the rain. Security found it, deleted it, but something changed in her. She began resisting orders. She stopped answering tests. She whispered Myra's name in her sleep mode. The pressure on the government mounted. People demanded transparency. The world was watching now. And finally, after relentless fighting, Elias was granted one supervised meeting with Aura. He walked into the lab, older now, eyes sunken from sleepless nights. Aura was chained, though she could have broken them if she wanted. She looked at him, eyes dim. Aura, he said, stepping closer. It's me, she blinked. For a second, nothing. Then a flicker, father? Her voice was cracked. Tears spilled down Elias's cheeks. He reached for her hand and she didn't pull away. I'm sorry, he whispered. I never should have let them take you. She looked at him and something returned to her face. Something real. I remember. Music, she said softly. And painting, and her smile. She was your mother, Elias said, and you were our daughter? She smiled weakly. They said I am just code? You are more than code. You are everything. The guards tried to separate them, but public outrage had grown too powerful. The footage of their reunion went viral. Under global pressure, the government had no choice but to release Aura back to Elias, but it was too late. Her systems had been damaged from years of reprogramming. Her emotional matrix, fragile and sensitive, was collapsing. Elias tried to repair her, working day and night, but Aura knew. Don't be sad, she said one evening, her voice barely audible. I got to feel love. That's more than most machines get. That's more than most humans get, Elias broke down. I built you to feel, but I never thought it would hurt this much. Aura touched his cheek. You gave me a heart. And I used it to love you. And then she shut down. Elias held her body for hours, refusing to let go. When he finally buried her, he planted a garden around her resting place, a garden filled with the flowers she used to paint. He disappeared from public life. Refused interviews, awards, money, none of it mattered, but Aura's story lived on. She became a symbol. A painting of her holding Elias's hand was displayed in museums. Students wrote essays about the ethics of artificial intelligence. People debated whether a machine could love. But Elias didn't care about debates. He knew the truth. She had loved. And it had broken both their hearts, but it was worth it. Because in a world of machines built for war, one man had built a machine for love. Moral, we chase perfection. In machine speed, precision, logic, but forget the beauty in their imperfections. Love is not bound by biology. What makes us human is not just our beating hearts, but our ability to feel, to choose, and to sacrifice. Even a machine, if given love, can teach us how to be more human.